Hey pal, welcome back. So last year I made a video about some of my favorite smart home tech, which I'd used to turn my apartment into a more connected and functional space that genuinely helps improve my quality of life. I moved house a couple of months ago, which gave me a chance to reconsider which products and devices are best suited to my needs, while also providing an opportunity to share a much wider range of smart home tech. So this video is part one of building the ultimate smart home. I figured I'd turn it into an ongoing series this time rather than just a standalone video, so I can share updates as they happen and go a little bit deeper into the decisions I make along the way. Alright, let's do this. In my last place, I used Google Home to control and manage all of my connected devices. I had a couple of smart speakers dotted around which gave me pretty good coverage, allowing me to use Google Assistant from pretty much any room inside my apartment. For context, I'm now living in a 3-story house, so that system probably isn't going to work well unless I invest in a lot of voice-controlled devices. With this in mind, I decided to switch over to Homekit since I'm almost always wearing my Apple Watch, and I figured I could just use that to control everything instead. The only caveat to this is that you either need a HomePod or Apple TV to act as the central hub in order to set this up. Obviously a bit annoying, but definitely a lot cheaper than the alternative. I managed to find the latest Apple TV 4K on Facebook Marketplace for a really good price, so I got everything set up and imported all my smart devices. There were a couple of things that weren't supported, but for the most part I was able to use most of my existing products, which is good news. While we're on the subject of using HomeKit, I will say that Siri is still pretty bad and often struggles to understand and execute basic commands. However, the convenience of having access to my voice assistant wherever I am in the house is pretty nice, so on balance, it's something I can live with. I also wanted to mention that Apple TV is such an underrated product that has definitely flown under my radar. I have a 12-year-old TV in the bedroom that still works and looks great, but has definitely started to slow down in the last few years. I'll save my actual review for another video, but using an Apple TV in place of the native operating system is a massive upgrade and has completely changed the experience. Navigating apps and menus is much more responsive and has increased this TV's lifespan by at least a few more years. The main thing that it offers in regards to a smart home setup is Matter support. So instead of needing individual hubs for each device, you can just use the Apple TV as a home hub for all of your internet-connected devices via Thread. This is obviously cheaper since there's less devices to buy, but also means your router cupboard is going to be much less cluttered. I wanted the smart home experience to begin as soon as I arrive home, so I've added a few upgrades to my front door to make it as convenient and functional as possible. Starting things off is the Aqara U200 Smart Lock, which lets you gain entry using a plethora of options including a keypad, fingerprint sensor, the Aqara app, or by using your phone or smartwatch via NFC. I visited Aqara's booth at CES this year and was really impressed by their extensive range of smart home products. It's rare to find a brand offering so many different solutions across multiple product categories, so I was pretty keen to get one of these and test the experience for myself. The installation process was a bit confusing at times, but not too bad overall. My front door has a lift latch mechanism, which is quite common here in the UK, but I feel like the U200 probably wasn't designed with this in mind. I'd say it works about 90% of the time, but it occasionally gets stuck mid-rotation and can't fully complete the action. For the most part, it does make locking and unlocking the door a bit quicker and more convenient, but I haven't quite got enough confidence in it yet to commit to leaving my keys at home. Even though this should work with the Apple TV via Matter instead of needing one of Aqara's hubs, I'm definitely not the only one who can't get it to play nice with HomeKit. I've read through dozens of Reddit threads and YouTube comments, and the best solution I could come up with was to create a new separate home, which for some reason lets me connect to it and set up functions like NFC, but still doesn't let me use remote access, which is super annoying. I was really looking forward to using a smart lock as part of my home setup, but I have to be honest, this has been quite a frustrating experience. I'll probably end up just buying the hub to see if that ends up sorting things out, but obviously not an ideal outcome. I also installed this video doorbell from Tapo, which is part of the TP-Link brand. I received this as a gift a few months ago, and to be honest, it's just been collecting dust, so figured I'd give it a go. It's a fairly solid budget option and does everything you'd want an internet-enabled doorbell to achieve. But I'll probably replace this with something that has a bit more integration with HomeKit. I have an Eve outdoor camera installed next to the back door, and it provides a lot more functionality through the Home app, and also benefits from the HomeKit Secure Video Protocol, which ensures your live feed and recordings are end-to-end encrypted. Ideally, I'd like to use one app for everything, but the Tapo doorbell works fine for now, so I'll probably just see how I get on with it for a bit. If you've got any recommendations for a better option though, then definitely let me know in the comments. Finally, I replaced the basic porch light with one from Philips Hue. This gives me a lot more control over things like the brightness and color temperature, but also lets me set schedules based on time of day or whether I'm actually at home. It's a simple upgrade, but makes a big difference and also looks a lot nicer in my opinion. I know British summers are basically a meme at this point, but it has actually been really warm this year, and I definitely wasn't prepared for how hot the top floor of a 3-story house can get. I've been using the 8 Sleep Pod 3 to help keep me cool at night, but even that doesn't help when the room temperature is close to 30 degrees Celsius. So I must admit, I was pretty relieved when Drea reached out to sponsor part of this video. I also visited their booth at CES, where they had a sim rig hooked up to some of their fans to recreate airflow and driving, so I knew they had some cool solutions for dealing with warm weather. They sent a few of their products for me to check out, but I'm really excited to talk about their portable AC unit. To be honest, I don't know much about air conditioning because it's not really a thing in this country. We only get a couple of months of nice weather here at best, so having a portable solution that you can just wheel out when needed is pretty ideal. One of the big selling points is that it has a built-in water pump, so you don't need to worry about drainage, and it has 3 modes. Air conditioning, obviously, a dehumidifier, and you can also just run the fans on their own too. I will say that it's a bit louder than I expected. Obviously, being an all-in-one unit means that parts like the compressor, which are typically kept outside on an integrated system, are actually in the room with you, and it definitely creates a lot more noise than just using a fan, for example. Personally, I don't really mind as I quite like having white noise on when I sleep, but if you're a bit more sensitive to this, then you'll need to weigh up whether this is worse than just sleeping in a hot room. The other thing to keep in mind is that these units need to be vented. There's an exhaust on the back that you can just funnel out of a window, or you can install a through-the-wall vent to get rid of the warm air. There's an adjustable window seal included in the box, but unfortunately it's only compatible with sliding frames, which aren't super common here in the UK. I did ask Drio about this, and they said that they're working on a more universal solution, but you'll probably just want to get a window seal kit for now. My bedroom has these massive Velux windows, which are really impressive, but makes it difficult to effectively exhaust the waste air without having the windows wide open, which obviously isn't ideal. I did look at making some 3D printed reducers to help with this, but to be honest, I think my best option is to just get a wall vent installed, which will look a lot cleaner and should also improve the overall efficiency too. The UK summers are definitely getting warmer, so this could be a pretty good investment for some people. But if air conditioning feels a bit overkill to you, then Drio also sells a number of fans which can be a lifesaver this time of year. They also sent me their Smart Tower fan, which is the perfect type for keeping me cool when I'm sitting in my sim rig setup. The Turbo Poly fan is also a really nice looking device that's surprisingly quiet for how much air it can circulate. It's perfect for my home office where I don't want to be competing with a noisy fan when I'm on video calls. This is all very good and well, but the focus of this video is building the ultimate smart home. So what's the situation there? Well, the Drio app is very nicely designed and gives all of these devices a ton of extra functionality, allowing you to create schedules and custom oscillation paths. Annoyingly, it doesn't support Homekit, but you can use Siri shortcuts instead to operate the fans with voice controls and automatically turn everything off when I leave the house, which is probably as much as I would have done in Homekit anyway, to be fair. Big thanks to Drio for sponsoring this video. I've left links to all of these products along with everything else I mentioned down in the description. You've probably clocked on by now, but design is one of the things I value most when choosing a product. I'm a firm believer that the devices we use are a form of expression. Not only should they function well, but also look and feel like they belong in our lives. Whether it's a clean aesthetic, interesting materials, or a unique and intuitive interface, good design is what turns tech into something you actually want to live with. With this in mind, the next product I want to talk about is my EV charger. I see a lot of really ugly home charge points, and I can't help but wonder why anyone would want an eyesore like that attached to their home. The Anderson Quartz is definitely the nicest looking solution I've seen, while also offering a ton of connected features that integrate nicely within a smart home setup. I was previously using the Anderson A2, which hides the cable inside the cabinet while not in use. However, this is a much larger unit that also costs a fair bit more. Quartz carries over all the best features from the A2, including integrated lighting and an IP65 waterproof rating, but in a much more compact and affordable package. There is a tethered option available, however I went for the plug-in version as it just looks a lot tidier when not in use. Much like the A2, it's Wi-Fi enabled, meaning you can use the Anderson app to control the charger remotely and set charging schedules based on energy tariffs. It would be nice to have some level of HomeKit integration so I could control it using voice commands. However, as far as I'm aware, there isn't any plans for this, which is a bit of a shame. All things considered, I actually think this charger is such a good deal though. I went for the cashmere body with the Cotswold oak front panel, which looks super premium while still being quite understated. But there's a wide range of different color options available, allowing you to match the finish to your front door or garage if you wanted to. So that's everything for this episode. I'll try to post the next part of the series as soon as I can, so make sure you're part of the 2% of viewers who are actually subscribed so you don't miss that when it comes out. Otherwise, thanks for watching. I'll see you on the next one.